Hello everyone, dear supporters of Barcelona. This is a Barcelona enthusiast just like you. Remember to like and subscribe so you don't miss any news about our favorite club. Today, we're going to tackle 3 hot topics concerning our team. Let's get started without further delay. This isn't just a summer rumor. It's not one of those pieces of information that fade away with time. It's something that touches me deeply. There's increasing talk about strong interest from Naples in Gavi. Yes, our Gavi, that young player who embodies the Barcelona spirit, who fights for every ball as if it were his last, who embodies the spirit, determination, and love for this jersey like few others. And I can't stay silent. I can't and don't want to imagine a Barcelona without him. During this pre-season in Asia, Gavi clearly shows that he hasn't lost any of his essence. His return after his injury has been like a ray of light for those of us who believe in a Barcelona with an identity, a heart, players who don't just play but feel. His intensity, his commitment, his way of inspiring the team are things that can't be taught. Either you have them or you don't, and Gavi, the Barcelona fans, has them all. Now, Naples comes with money in hand, promises of prominence, an ambitious project in which they say Gavi could shine. And of course, the temptation is real. We don't live isolated from the economic context. We know the club is going through a complex phase where every euro counts and where every operation can make a difference. But despite all that, my opinion is clear. Selling Gavi would be a huge mistake, not only for what he brings on the field but also for what he represents off it. We're talking about a footballer who isn't yet 25 years old and is already a symbol of modern Barcelona, who has grown with us, who has sweated for this jersey in every match, who has faced giants without ever backing down. Do we really want to do without a player like him? Someone who understands better than anyone what it means to be part of this club? I am clear on this. No, absolutely not. And I understand that 70 million seems attractive. For any club in the world, that would be a significant figure. But how do you evaluate the soul of a team? How do you measure the impact of someone who doesn't just play but represents an idea, a way of understanding football? Sometimes, money can't buy what is built with time, effort, and passion. And Gavi is one of those unique constructions that shouldn't be touched. Barcelona needs references, players who lead on and off the field, who don't hide in tough times, who pull the cart when things get complicated. And that's precisely what Gavi has given us from day one. We don't have to look far to remember how, even being one of the youngest on the team, he already set the pace, gave instructions, fearlessly faced opponents with triple his experience, because there are things that have no age, and Gavi's character is one of them. This situation should make us reflect on the kind of Barcelona we want to build. A team that loses its identity for a sum of money or a club that bets on its own, believes in its youth academy, builds from feeling and not just capital. I, as a Barcelona fan, want the second option. I want us to preserve the essence, to look to the future with ambition, yes, but without forgetting our roots. And it's that Gavi is not just any player. He is one of the few who still represents that magical connection between the stands and the pitch. One of the few who, when he steps onto the field, makes the supporter feel like a part of the game because he fights as we would, because he considers no ball lost, because his passion is our passion. I know that modern football is full of moves that seem inevitable, that there are clubs with bigger checkbooks, with tempting offers, but I also know that there are things that are non-negotiable, and Gavi's continuity at Barcelona is one of them. He is not a bargaining chip. He is a cornerstone on which we can build a solid, ambitious, and consensus-driven project. I ask all of you, dear Barcelona fans who are reading this, would you really accept an offer, no matter how high, in exchange for losing one of our great symbols? Don't you think Gavi's value goes far beyond millions? Don't you think that losing him would weaken not only our team but also our soul as a club? The answer is in our hands, in our voice, in our attitude as supporters. We must make ourselves heard. We must make it understood that there are limits not to be crossed, that there are players who, for what they represent, must stay, not because they are untouchable, but because they are indispensable. And Gavi, Barcelona fans, is indispensable. Sometimes, the market tests you, tempts you with figures, promises, alternative scenarios, but that's where conviction, firmness, and long-term vision must come into play. And if Barcelona wants to continue being that different club, that special club that values more than immediate performance, it must start by protecting its own, by saying no strongly when what's at stake is not just a player but a part of the team's soul. And it's precisely in this type of decision that a club demonstrates its greatness, not only in sports but also morally and institutionally, because protecting those who embody our values is not just a matter of contracts or figures, it's a statement of intent. What's the point of projecting ambition in the market if we're not capable of taking care of and preserving what we hold most precious at home? And Gavi is not a promise. He is a reality. One of those realities that aren't manufactured in a transfer laboratory but are born from the fertile soil of the youth academy, daily effort, and unwavering loyalty to the colors. Let's not forget either that amid all the transformations the club has undergone in recent years, Gavi has been an emotional anchor for many of us. In times when references were lacking, he stood out. In gray periods, his commitment illuminated. And now that we are finally charting a clearer roadmap with an idea of play that gives hope, are we going to allow this spark to fade? Are we going to hand over one of our own just when we need this type of authentic leadership the most? That's why I invite you to raise your voice, because Barcelona doesn't belong only to the directors or the footballers. It belongs to those who feel it in their hearts, to those who understand that every decision sends a message, and this one, without a doubt, is one of the most important in recent times. I'm counting on you, dear Barcelona fans, because this time, you too can help chart the course. Today, we must face news that many of us would not want to hear, but which is already on the club's table. Barcelona is seriously considering the departure of Pau Cubarsí. Yes, that young central defender who grew up through our youth ranks, trained with commitment, took on responsibilities much earlier than expected, and earned the respect of supporters and the technical staff through his reliability and uncommon maturity for his age. Now, however, an offer from Manchester United has turned everything upside down. €75 million for his transfer, accompanied by a salary proposal of €15 million annually, a figure well above what he could earn with us. Faced with this scenario, it seems that Joan Laporta is beginning to throw in the towel, accepting that perhaps there is no way to retain him if the situation deteriorates. Let's understand the context. Cubarsí has shown absolute commitment to Barcelona. He has forged his path step by step, without media rush or forced transfers. His performances, even when he debuted as a teenager, conveyed reliability, personality, and a DNA unique to the club. He is not just another product of LAMINE. He is a symbol of the training model we want to preserve and the sacrifice we value so much. But now, just when everything seemed to be falling into place for him to establish himself in the first team, an English giant appears, ready to offer an astronomical sum and a salary that many consider impossible for us to match. This places the club in a major dilemma: negotiate forcefully to keep him or accept that sometimes there are offers that cannot be refused. From the management's perspective, the temptation is powerful. €75 million is a sum that could relieve many financial pressures, create space in the squad, and facilitate other necessary signings. But this does not erase what we lose with his departure. Cubarsí is not a renewable resource. He is a unique talent trained here and capable of leading the defense for years. Moreover, the player's entourage has openly expressed interest in evaluating the English option if the agreement becomes irreversible. A delicate situation. A young man surrounded by agents and professional advice, facing economic pressure that even pushes the management to question the feasibility of retaining him. From my perspective as a supporter, selling Pau would be a major mistake. It's not just about losing a talented defender. It's about giving up on a project, a narrative of continuity from LAMINE, an identity that sets Barcelona apart from other clubs. Because if we accept that players trained here leave when huge offers arrive, what message are we sending to the youngsters who aspire to wear our jersey? That loyalty is worth less than money, that the future matters less than the economic present? We must also consider the value he generates on the field. A young central defender with a good reading of the game, speed to cover, anticipation skills, ease in playing from the back, and a calm character under pressure is a key piece in the system we are rebuilding. This adaptation and balance cannot be bought. They are cultivated. The round of 16, the finals, or the tight matches can make the difference with someone like him. Cubarsí brings defensive balance, clean ball progression, and, above all, an emotional connection with the home. It's not the same to bring in a central defender for $30 million from another country as it is to sell ours for 75. There is also something beyond the tangible that represents the heart of Barcelona, the coherence. Having the ability to generate economic value is good, but using that value to dismantle the internal project is betraying what we are. As supporters, we applaud when LAMINE triumphs, and we also suffer when our promising players leave, often without having had the real opportunity to flourish here. We must ask ourselves what kind of club we want to be. A club vulnerable to selling as soon as a minimal sum arrives, or a club that defends its model even when tempting offers pour in. As if that weren't enough, selling now could reinforce a mistaken idea in the environment, that Barcelona talents are just passing transfers, negotiable, exportable. This undermines the club's responsibility to build structures that retain its own. And at a time when other revenue sources are more uncertain, starting to deplete our base solely for short-term needs could leave Barcelona weaker in the long run. There is also another dimension that I feel we do not value enough. Cubarsí decided to stay despite multiple minor offers when he was not yet established. The club believed in him, the supporters grew with him, and now that he could bring in millions, there is pressure for him to be sold. This investment must also be valued. It cannot be about recovering money only when the talent is consolidated. This endangers the entire history of training and progression that we want to maintain. And we cannot forget the emotional impact on those who never received such a proposal. Players from previous generations who are also not fully utilized and who now look with melancholy at their potential successor possibly leaving under similar circumstances. Do we want to repeat stories of painful losses, or do we want to close a circle of recognition and rootedness? Amid all this landscape, a figure emerges who has not hesitated for a moment to position himself clearly. Hansi Flick, the German coach newly arrived on Barcelona's bench, has hinted in every internal conversation and gesture during training that Pau Cubarsí is not just any player. For Flick, the young Catalan central defender is not just a promising defender but a strategic asset, a cornerstone on which the new defensive structure of the team could be built in the coming years. His conviction is firm. Letting Cubarsí go would be a mistake with profound consequences, a step back in the sporting project that the club seeks to consolidate under his direction. That's why I invite you to raise your voice, because Barcelona does not belong only to the directors or the footballers. It belongs to those who feel it in their hearts, to those who understand that every decision sends a message, and this one, without a doubt, is one of the most important in recent times. I'm counting on you, dear Barcelona fans, because this time, you too can help chart the course. Dear Barcelona fans, a move that could mark a before and after in Barcelona's sports planning is on the horizon. In the corridors of Camp Nou, in the offices where the club's future is being shaped, the name Artem Dovbyk has started to resonate strongly. And this is not a random mention or a simple market survey. It is a real possibility, an operation that, if materialized, could signify the natural succession we have debated so much to fill the position that, sooner than expected, Robert Lewandowski might leave. Yes, as difficult as it may be to accept, the Polish striker could be living his final chapters as a Blaugrana. Faced with this reality, we must look to the future with intelligence, with a forward-looking vision, and above all, with ambition. And that's where Dovbyk comes in. The 28-year-old Ukrainian striker has already made his mark during his time in La Liga, demonstrating that he has what it takes to perform at the highest level. We are not talking about an experiment or a bet on the future. We are talking about an accomplished striker, with a track record, a goal scorer, physically strong, hungry for victory. And that, dear Barcelona fans, is exactly what we need. The fact that Barcelona is interested in Dovbyk is no coincidence. It reflects a sports management that is beginning to make bold decisions, understanding that the future must be built on solid foundations and not just with flashy names. The Ukrainian already knows La Liga. He has already shown that he can make a difference in the league, and this prior adaptation is a huge advantage that we cannot ignore. There is no acclimatization period, no doubts about his performance in the Spanish context. What there is proven experience, goals, assists, and an imposing presence in the box. And it's true that his time in Serie A was not the brightest, but that does not erase what he achieved at Girona or the potential he still has to exploit. Many players do not adapt to certain contexts, styles, or systems, but that does not define their quality. And here, with Barcelona's style of play, with a structure that values a striker who knows how to move, who knows how to read spaces, Dovbyk could rediscover his best version and, why not, surpass it. Moreover, his profile fits what we have needed for a long time. He is physically strong, good in aerial play, but he also knows how to link up, move out of the box, and draw defenders. He is not a static striker. He is dynamic, hard-working, with a team spirit that could complement our style of play perfectly. He would not just be a finisher. He would be a pivot, an offensive anchor around which the team's attacks could be articulated. And that, in a context where Barcelona needs to become a protagonist again through possession but also lethal in the final third, is pure gold. We are talking about an operation close to 25 million euros, and I understand that, given our economic situation, every investment must be analyzed meticulously. But I also believe that there are opportunities that should not be missed, and this is one of them. Because every day, you can't sign a striker with a goal-scoring past in La Liga, with a hunger for redemption, at the ideal age to combine maturity and ambition, and who is also available for a reasonable sum. It's now or never. And sincerely, dear Barcelona fans, I am in favor. Not only because I believe that Dovbyk has what it takes to succeed here, but also because the idea of a serious, coherent bet with sporting logic excites me. It's no longer just about media names. It's about functional profiles, players who integrate into the playing style, the context, the project. Dovbyk, with his characteristics, trajectory, and present, fits. We cannot afford to improvise the succession of our central striker. We cannot wait until the last moment or settle for temporary solutions. If there is a real possibility of closing the deal with Dovbyk, we must go for it with determination, because great teams are built with planning, not with quick fixes. And if this Barcelona wants to return to the top, it needs strikers who make a difference. Dovbyk can be one. I ask you, dear Barcelona fans, what do you think? Do you think he is the right profile to be the next number 9 for Barcelona? Does his potential arrival excite you? Or do you think the club should look for another type of striker? Personally, I believe this is an opportunity we should not miss. It's not just a transfer, it's a message, a step forward, a bet on a competitive present and a future with guarantees. Because, in the end, beyond tactical debates or inevitable comparisons, there is something we cannot lose: the ability to get excited about a serious, ambitious, well-constructed project. And signing Dovbyk would be a step in that direction, proof that we are attentive to the market, that we know what we need, and that we are ready to act. And as if all that were not enough, dear Barcelona fans, there is a detail that further reinforces the seriousness of this operation and allows us to get truly excited. Hansi Flick has given his approval. The new Barcelona coach not only knows what is happening around Artem Dovbyk, but has also expressed his full approval of the possibility of incorporating the Ukrainian striker into the new sports project. This is not an operation driven solely from the offices, but a proposal supported by the one who is called to lead from the bench this new stage that we are beginning with enthusiasm and demand. Since his arrival, Flick has made it clear that he does not want imposed players or names that come only for marketing weight. He wants pieces that integrate, that are hungry, that understand his philosophy, and that can meet the tactical and physical demands of his playing style. And in this context, he has designated Dovbyk as an ideal profile, as he sees him as a number 9 capable of contributing from the first minute, who can adapt to the system without major complications, and who has the potential to evolve under his direction. Flick's approval, dear Barcelona fans, is not a minor detail. It is a sign of confidence, proof that this potential transfer responds to a well-defined technical planning. Moreover, the German coach knows very well what it means to have a striker who commands respect in the box. He experienced it during his successful time with the German national team and also suffered when he did not have a clear reference. He knows that a striker like Dovbyk, with a mix of power, mobility, and finishing ability, can be decisive in tight scenarios, in matches where the opponent sits back, in nights where spaces are minimal, and where precision in front of goal makes the difference between victory and frustration. Leave us your opinion in the comments. Thank you all, and see you next time for more news about our beloved club. Visca el Barca.